How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to Lead Therapy, and thank you so very much for taking time for tuning into my video. Just recently, the Florida legislative session wrapped up, and during that time period, Democrats proposed 25 anti-gun bills, and none of them were passed here in Florida. And reason being, we have what they call a trifecta here in Florida. The state House and Senate have a Republican majority, and we have our fantastic Republican governor, Ron DeSantis. So let's take a closer look of those anti-gun bills that didn't pass here in Florida, that never got to the House or Senate floor. And like I said earlier on in the video, as you might expect, all the gun control bills were sponsored by anti-gun Democrats. First was HB 25, sales of ammunition, which would have mandated background checks for the sale and transfer of ammunition. HB 167, the sale, transfer, and storage of firearms. HB 251, risk protection orders, would have expanded the list of people who can petition for a risk protection order. Next is HB 555, storage of firearms by licensed importers. It would have mandated specific firearm storage requirements for licensed importers, licensed manufacturers, and licensed dealers, and would authorize compliance inspections. Next is HB 653, and of course they have to work in every year an assault weapons and large capacity magazine ban. And then another hot topic, HB 1015, use or threatened use of force. It would have repealed provisions relating to using or threatening to use force, including deadly force, and not having to retreat before such use or threaten use in defense of person or property, having right to stand their ground. The next one is a real good one. HB 1367, registration of fingerprints of concealed weapons or firearms license holders. The bill would have decreased the number of years that a license to carry concealed weapons or firearms are valid, and would have required that a full set of fingerprints submitted as part of application for license be retained by specific entities. HB 6033, repeals preemption of firearms and ammunition. It would have repealed provisions preempting the field of regulation of firearms and ammunition to legislature, to exclusions of local jurisdictions, and allows local government to enact gun control. HB 6035 would have repealed the right to use or threaten the use of deadly force. It sounds very similar to one of the other bills I've just talked about. It would have removed provisions allowing use or threaten use of deadly force to prevent imminent death or great bodily harm, or to prevent imminent commission of forcible felony. But once again, I'm going to sound like a broken record. There's HB 6063, use of deadly force in defense of a person, repeals provisions relating using or threatening to use force, including deadly force, and not having to retreat before such use or threatened use in defense of persons or property. And once again, trying to take away having the right to stand your ground. That's the end of the House bills, and now it's on to the Senate bills. So I can save some time in this video. Most, if not all, of the Senate bills mimic the House bills. There was Senate Bill 182, risk protection orders. And just like the House bill, it would have expanded the list of people who could petition for a risk protection order. Next was SB 294, storage of loaded firearms. It would have dictated the locations and circumstances in which a loaded firearm is required to be kept and secured with a trigger lock or cable lock, deleting exceptions and criminalizing storage not meeting certain mandates. And then there was SB 330, the infamous universal background checks. And then there was SB 370, and of course the Senate had to draw up their own assault weapons and large capacity magazine ban. And then there was SB 372, three-dimensional printed firearms. If it would have passed, it would have prohibited a person from printing, transferring, importing into the state, distributing, selling, possessing, or giving another person certain 3D printed firearms as of a specified date. And here's the kicker, it would have required persons in possession of such firearms to relinquish them to a law enforcement agency or to the Department of Law Enforcement, or to destroy them before the prohibition takes effect. SB 427, once again, sale, transfer, or storage of firearms. SB 560 repeals the statutory prohibition of registration of firearms and firearm owners. And basically, if this bill would have passed, the bill would have paved the way for gun registration and ultimately gun confiscation. SB 672 is just a mirror image of another bill that I talked about, repeals preemption of firearms and ammunition regulation. And SB 966, yet another safe storage of firearms bill. SB 1052, use or threaten use of force. It was another bill trying to get rid of having the right to stand your ground. SB 1170, sales of ammunition, would have required background checks for the sale and transfer of ammunition. And SB 1196, I don't know how many times I've mentioned a bill just like this, I think it's now the 4th or 5th time, use of threatened use of deadly force. Bear with me, there's only 4 more left. SB 1464 in the title has the word gun safety. So you would think it's another bill having to do with storage of firearms and locking them up. But then if you actually read it, it's an assault weapon and magazine ban bill. SB 1580, licenses to carry concealed weapons or firearms. Retention of fingerprints in specified systems, requiring a license upon each renewal, and to provide proof of a completion of firearms training or safety course or class meeting specified requirements. This is a good one for you. SB 1742, use of deadly force. It would have required certain law enforcement agencies to collect and report to the Department of Law Enforcement specified information regarding the use of deadly force, requiring the department in consultation with specified associations, and here's the real good part to this one, and to develop and maintain a database for the retention of such information for at least a specified period of time. And SB 1856 would have authorized a law enforcement officer acting in accordance with certain provisions to serve and execute a certain court order on any day and at any time to seize and hold persons' firearms or ammunition or license to carry a concealed weapon or firearm under certain circumstances, authorizing a court to remove the right to purchase, own, sell, or possess firearms or ammunition, or to possess a license to carry concealed weapons or firearms of a person found to be incapacitated. Well, there you have it, 25 bills that anti-gun Democrats tried to pass in Florida in 2021. And my main reason of making this video is to show you how ridiculous some of these bills are, and how these Democrat lawmakers have made it their mission to try to strip away our Second Amendment rights. And as always, let me know your thoughts about this video in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed the video, or if I gave you some information you didn't know, please like, share, and subscribe, and hit those post notifications. And I will see you in the next video.